brings a tremendous amount of passion in everything he does, but it really channels in a football way when he gets on the football field. And I'm well aware of him. His brother Martellus played for us. I've had previously met him and his dad, and so my point is that I think that he does bring a positive as a team member to what we're trying to do on and off the field.
Jerry Jones this past week talking about the newest Dallas Cowboy, Michael Bennett, and we welcome you to the latest edition of Special Edition as the Cowboys get set for Monday Night Football this week against the New York Giants. Bill Jones along with Nate Newton, Rick Gosselin, and Daryl Johnston. We get you set for the game over the course of the next half hour, but we kick things off talking about what the Cowboys did do on their bye week, which was make that trade with the New England Patriots, picking up the defensive lineman Michael Bennett. Let's start with you, Moose, down there. What do you make of that when the Cowboys made that trade?
I think it was Rick last week that said one of the things they have to do is look at an edge rusher. So, kind of forecasting that decision to go in that direction. The biggest thing is he was key to Philadelphia and their Super Bowl run. He's been with New England, so he seems to be one of those guys when you're looking for that special component they reach out to, but he's also been on 4 teams in 24 games. So what does that mean?
It don't mean much, Moose. It means that he can get off the rock, that he's in depth at playing at a 4-3. He knows the inside game. He can play over one of the guards. It don't make a difference. He can get outside. He's a savvy run stopper. This guy understands about winning. Don't worry about off the field issues. They have already solved that.
Yeah, he's 33 years old, but 2 years ago he went to Pro Bowl. Last year he had 9 sacks. This is a guy, you don't want him to play 60, 70 snaps a game. But in the mix, I think he's still a quality player, can help the Cowboys pass rush. And this group needs help with the pass rush.
Yes, they need help on that defensive line. What do the defensive linemen think about the acquisition of Michael Bennett? Let's hear from them now.
Like, this ain't my first time playing with him. I got a chance to play with him at the Pro Bowl, and just by the knowledge and what he acquired over his years, and being able to bring that here is a blessing. So we're thankful.
I mean, every moment, every game, every second is precious. You don't want to say we got tomorrow because tomorrow's not promised. So while you have a guy like Mike Bennett, that they're willing to, trade, as you see, they didn't wait around. They took advantage of it, brought in another great piece. At the end of the day, with me and this, the organization, I'm sure I can speak for everyone. Just it's time to win. Not just regular season. You know what time it is.
And the versatility of Michael Bennett is key, being able to play inside or outside, especially Daryl, after the loss of Tyrone Crawford for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And to Nate's point, he's a different guy when he gets down inside. And you've seen a lot of the teams around the NFL do this. Take that edge rusher that has the ability to go inside and has a savvy, being an older guy, a veteran guy in this league, using that quickness against the guards and the centers, or creating the potential for some games with the outside rushers. 6'4", 275, plays great leverage ball, man. And like you say, Tyrone Crawford is gone. Kerry, the young guy, he's doing okay, but the guy that we drafted is not showing up.
Yeah, the key is he's 275. I mean, he's not a 260-pound edge rusher you want to slide in the middle. He can do what Tyrone Crawford did with this defense. He can line up outside, line up inside, and upgrade both places.
And Tristan Hill, the second-round draft pick, just might be inactive again Monday night against the New York Giants. We're just getting started here on Special Edition. Up next, let's take an up-close look at this Cowboys offense coming out of the bye week.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army. Doing the most good. And by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today.
There's going to be a little bit of everything. There's going to be a little bit in the run game, a little bit in the pass game, situationally, certainly. When you can score in the red zone, usually that's an indicator of good things happening on those particular games. And, there's a lot of different things that you can clean up, and I think it's a lot of minor things that add up and become very valuable, progress.
After a lot of time off the bye week, Kellen Moore and the Cowboys back at it this past week, getting set for Monday night's game against the New York Giants. We're getting you set for it here on Special Edition. Let's take a look at Kellen Moore's offense and ask the question for the round table here. Who needs to step up here in the final 9 games of the season? It is a Cowboys offense, Daryl Johnston, that ranks #1 in the league in total yards. But who do you think needs to step up to get it to a level that they want it to be at the second half?
You know, it's kind of hard. I know that there's some people that are looking for the areas to kind of fix, but, you know, from a broad spectrum, everybody's playing well. They're inconsistent, so we could go anywhere with this. I really think that combination of Tavon Austin and Randall Cobb that you were trying to create, that unique player there, just because they haven't been able to get into a rhythm and be consistent with what they bring to the field. If those two guys combine to do that role, pick up their pace, I think that adds another dimension to the passing game.
Michael Gallup, without a doubt. His kid started out hot, got injured, came back, had that kind of so-so game, but he's maturing. If he can get consistent, Moose said the main word, if he can get consistent and take off, this offense take off.
Yeah, I'm with Nate. I think he's a better 2 than most teams have. You look at Tampa. You got to stop Michael Evans. He's the guy they roll the coverage. Chris Godwin on the other side has 400-yard games, 6 touchdowns. He's making hay against single coverage. And Michael Gallup's got to do that for the Cowboy offense.
You know, and when you look at Gallup, he had the one game where he had the drops against the Jets, and that was the game the Cowboys really needed him to step up because they didn't have Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb. But his progress from year 1 into year 2, there's no reason to think he can't have a really successful second half of this season.
No, absolutely not. I mean, just the growth and the development, things are going to become easier to him. He's going to understand it more. Remember, there's a twist on this offense. It's still, you know, they're still getting the details, and we've seen it kind of change back and forth during the course of the season. So they're still growing in this system.
Surprise. Got a tight end being hid, coming out. Blake Jarwin, surprise.
Are we going there again?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so how come nobody mentioned Blake Jarwin stepping up? He's got to have an opportunity to step up, right? Is that what you're saying?
Got to get on the field to have a chance.
Blake Jarwin, surprise.
All right, so is that your number? If Kellen Moore will design plays to get Blake Jarwin the football,
especially in the seam,
right,
option routes, he can get down the field.
All right, so there you go. We turn our attention to the Dallas defense when Special Edition continues in a moment, getting you set for the Cowboys and the Giants on Monday night.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Yes, we got on track. Finally had a game where we were able to turn the ball over, or get turnovers, if that makes sense. You know, getting extra possessions for our offense, managing the time of the game. You know, it starts with us, and we have that mentality. We want to be an elite defense. We've shown glimpses of that, but consistency, that's the mark of greatness.
What do they need to do to become an elite defense? How important is that in the second half of this season? Cowboys and Giants on Monday night, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cowboys coming into this one with a 4-3 record on the season. Giants have lost 4 in a row. This Dallas defense, you hear from Jalen Smith there, but who needs to step up on the Dallas defense in the second half? Moose, let's go ahead and start with you.
Well, I think to Jalen's comments there, to be an elite defense, I think your guys inside have to. And right now, for me, I think Leighton Vander Esch is one of the guys that I would like to see take that next step. I'm not saying that he hasn't played well up until this point. His numbers are similar to what he had last year at this time, but he only had 3 starts. I'd like to see him be that guy who makes the critical play in the middle of the field, start turning the ball over. I know he's battling through some injury stuff right now, but for this team to become elite, it has to be him and Jalen Smith together inside.
And they're hoping Leighton Vander Esch will be ready to go on Monday night. Didn't appear to be a serious injury 2 weeks ago, and the bye week came at a good time for Leighton Vander Esch and some others on this defense. Nate, what about you?
If this team want to be truly successful and feed, they have Michael Bennett, DeMarcus Lawrence, Robert Quinn, along with Malik Collins, have to be better in the pass rush. We only have like 17 sacks through 7 games. We 25 down from getting to his vaunted 42 to get to the playoffs. It's so many points. You have to score over 400 points. You have to have at least 42 sacks, unless you're the outlier of New England. We're not that outlier. Our defensive line need to show up.
That's Goose's number, 42 sacks, right, Goose?
Sacks come with pressure on a quarterback. And so takeaways come with pressure on a quarterback. And that's the key. This team they have 9 takeaways. The Patriots have 25 takeaways. The Patriots have more interceptions than every other team has takeaways. You need takeaways. Let me take you to Xavier Woods. He was brought in here because of his history as a playmaker. In his 3 years as a starter at Louisiana Tech, he had 14 interceptions. In 3 years here, he's got 4 interceptions. It's time for Xavier Woods to show the playmaking skills in the NFL that he showed at Louisiana Tech. That's why he's on the field, to get the football. And if you look at our secondary, he's got the best chance of making takeaways. They need Xavier Woods to come up with more footballs.
So, Goose, along those lines, there was talk this last week. Cowboys talked to the Jets about Jamal Adams. How concerned do you think they are about the safety position?
Enough to talk about the best safety, maybe one of the best safeties in football. And I'll tell you what, for a 1, I'd have traded him a 2nd, conditional. I wouldn't give up 2 twos. I think the 2nd round is the best round of the draft. And boy, I hate to walk away from Jamal Adams. I mean, he would have been a difference maker in this defense. He would have been the final piece to this defense.
All right,
GM, what's your
We'll let you two chime in a little bit later on the possibility of that Jamal Adams trade that did not happen this past week. But up next here on Special Edition, let's take a close look at this New York Giants team and Daniel Jones, the quarterback.
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
First down, play fake. Boot to the right, Witten's open. At the 5, at the 3, touchdown for the GOAT. Deep middle in stride at the 5, walking in for the touchdown. It's Randall Cobb.
Going end zone.
That is a touchdown. Oh my goodness, what a play by Cole Beasley. Throwing in the end zone, he caught it. Gallup for the 2 points. The Cowboys lead with 1:12 to play.
As the Cowboys aim for their 6th straight win over the Giants, let's take a look at how New York has fared since Week 1. After starting off 2019 with losses to Dallas and Buffalo, Giants replaced longtime starting quarterback Eli Manning with the rookie first-round pick out of Duke, Daniel Jones. The move showed promise initially, with New York picking up back-to-back victories over Tampa Bay and Washington. However, the Giants have dropped their last 4, which featured running back Saquon Barkley missing a couple of games due to injury. In a move to upgrade its defense, the Giants acquired former first-round pick Leonard Williams via trade from the Jets this past week. In 7 starts this season, Williams had no sacks or tackles for loss for the Jets. The Giants are hoping for more out of him, starting with Monday night against the Dallas Cowboys. As we welcome you back here to Special Edition, take a look at this matchup, the Cowboys and the Giants. And what do the Cowboys have to do against this Giants offense, who last week against Detroit, it's a nice performance by Daniel Jones. He had 4 touchdown passes. He's coming along in his rookie season. Daryl, what do the Cowboys need to do defensively?
The thing that we're talking about here is generating the turnovers. And you got to go back to that opener. Saquon Barkley averaged almost 11 yards a carry. They didn't really contain him. Evan Engram had a big night. So those were the 2 guys that you always worry about coming into a game when you play the Giants. And that defense allowed them to have big nights. So have they got that figured out? Who do they designate as the key playmakers again in this one? And do they limit their production?
You stop Barkley. Well, they got the Cowboy killer in Golden Tate. So you have to pay close attention to that. Be aware of your tight end, man, and play sound football. Stay in your gaps. This Barkley kid is special. Stay in your gaps and control the game from there.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley is a reason you can play a rookie quarterback. And he's the focus of your offense. He's going to get to 20, 25 touches. He's going to get Elliott-type production from the Giant offense.
And, of course, the Cowboys did not face Golden Tate in the season opener. He was serving a suspension to start the year. Flipping it over to the other side of the football, the Giants Defense, they did acquire Leonard Williams from the Jets this past week. Marcus Golden has 6 sacks for them. However, the Cowboys had their way with them in the season opener. So how can Dallas exploit this Giants defense again this time?
The big thing is don't go back to that opener. Things change so much and so quickly in the NFL. And everybody's going to look at the last 4 games and say Daniel Jones started out well, but he's slowed down now. This as a team, this group as a team has lost their last 4, but it's a pretty impressive record, 29-2, the record of those teams with the undefeated Patriots in there and the Vikings in there. So they've lost the good opponents. They're getting better. They're making the changes by adding Leonard Williams. It's a team that I think you have to be concerned about going up there, a division game on the road.
We laughed the first time we played these guys. They are not the same team. I agree with Moose. They are maturing. Their GM is making the right moves by going out and getting Leonard Williams. Golden Tate is back. The kid Jones is getting better and better. It's feast and famine for him right now. But if he ever get consistent, because he got an arm. Draft day, I laughed, but I'm sorry, my friend.
A lot of people did. A lot of people questioned that pick.
I don't worry about the 4-game losing streak. Troy Aikman didn't win a game as a rookie. He was 0-11. Don't judge Daniel Jones on this 4-game streak. This is going to be a good quarterback in this league, and there are a lot of pieces coming together. We talked about before the show: Ingram, Tate, Barkley, Jones. The offensive line's getting better. I don't want to play this team in December. The Cowboys are lucky they're getting them now.
All right, coming up here on Special Edition, we move into 4-down territory.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Fortunately for the Cowboys, Deion Sanders planned a primetime performance for the 29th anniversary of Monday Night Football.
Caught on a line by Sanders. Deion.
A foot race to the 20. Say touchdown, Deion Sanders.
Joe Avazano, I'm sure, is not saying that's just the way I drew it up. And somehow Deion is able to beat the coverage. It is intercepted by Sanders. Can he score again?
He just likes Monday night, I think, Brad.
What a primetime performance 2 decades ago, the Cowboys and the New York Giants. We get set for another one this Monday night, Cowboys and Giants. Final few minutes here of Special Edition. Time to go into 4-down territory. And on first down, let's address it to our former players here, Nate and Moose. What's the best thing about playing on Monday Night Football, Nate?
Everybody's watching. And so you might as well shine and do the best you can. And plus, I use that for my Pro Bowl votes.
6-time Pro Bowler, all made on Monday Night Football, right? What do you?
I grew up watching it. It was one of my favorite, things on television as a kid growing up. To be able to be a part of that later in life as a player was absolutely amazing. And we didn't get the opportunity to get there right away.
That's right.
You got to earn the right to get on Monday night, and it took us a while to do that. But then the one thing I will say is we got a lot of East Coast games on the 9 o'clock Eastern time kick. Monday Night Football is great. Tuesday morning is not.
The worst things about Monday Night Football. All right, second down. Are you concerned about Cam Fleming's injury? He's got a calf strain, suffered in practice last week. Nate, what do you think? Are you concerned about that?
You know how great you have it, Bill, until you lose that guy. Oh, man, Cam Fleming, he needs help. But now we need even more help. Brandon Knight, a younger guy. Yeah, I'm worried about Cam. We need to make sure that everybody stays healthy on that offensive line so that not become an issue.
Your tackles are now on a tightrope. Can't fall off, can't get hurt. The tackles that start have to finish.
All right, third down. Was it a mistake to have not traded for Jamal Adams? Goose, you talked about it a little bit earlier in the show.
I think if you feel you're one player away, you pay the price for that one player. I think the price for Adams, in my mind, I would have given up a 1 and 2 for Adams because he's going to be here for 10 more years. The 2-2s was a deal breaker for me, but if you think you're one player away, go get that guy. And I do think that this team with Jamal Adams could be one player away.
Yeah, a team that's in transition trying to stockpile picks, you just put it out there. And that's what shopping is, right? You can have them, but it's going to cost you a 1 and 2 twos. And I agree with Rick. It's just too high. It's too high a price to pay. But if you're the Jets, why not? Maybe somebody takes a shot at that.
Okay? And I know Nate would, right? Okay?
GM, baby.
All right. Nate's going to do whatever the GM down there does. All right. 4th down, gut feeling, score prediction from Monday night's game. Nate.
Hey, by one, baby. Go out and show out, baby. Go out and show out.
31-21. I think Daniel Jones put some offense up for the Giants.
Well, he's becoming a big Daniel Jones fan. To me, the biggest thing, both of these guys have said, Saquon Barkley. You got to stop him. I was surprised to see how well he ran in that opener in limited time, but yeah, boy, you can't let him going. You can't let him get going.
All right, that's it for Special Edition for this week. We will see you again next week.